Okay, it's 8 o'clock here in Norway in Central European time, and I'm back to do my weekly live. Last week I wasn't here, but you had a recording with Rosie um, about uh, separation anxiety, and I saw that a lot of you appreciated that recording, which was from our Christmas calendar last year. And today I want to talk about how dogs see the world, quite different from how we see the world and how we use our senses, because that makes so much more sense when we are communicating with them and teaching them things. So I'm just going to let Facebook find you and you find us. It always takes a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, if you want to let me know where you are, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. I can see that Alice is here in New York, in the States. Um, there are a few viewers out there. I can see the number on my screen, so just let me know. Okay, so I'm going to talk for my talk is about 20 minutes or something, I think, today. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to talk about them afterwards. Monica is here, Justina is here in Poland. These lives are always so international. I love the fact that I feel like I'm really getting to know you through these Facebook lives. So I really enjoy doing them. Susanne is here from Austria. So nice. Okay. So I think we're good to go. Linda is here in the Netherlands. So if you're new to this, my name is Lisbeth and I'm the founder of Nordic Dog Trainer. And every Wednesday I come live here on our Facebook page and I do these Facebook lives. You can find all the recordings if you go to the menu on top of this page, and then you go to videos or media and then videos, and then you can find all the recordings of the previous Facebook lives. And we cover everything. We've had interviews and we've had chats with other guests, and I've been covering lots of very how can I say important, of course, topics and relevant topics for dog owners, such as walking on leash, stressed dogs, dogs in sleep, problem behavior, all of that. So if you have time and if you want to get some free learning, this is the place to go. So I think there's more than 100 recordings now. I've been doing this for a couple of years already, and we are soon going to move over to do this on YouTube, because Facebook is no longer um, keeping the recordings for forever like they used to do. So they're removing the recordings, and before they do, we are moving ours over to YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. I will post a link here in the comments when I'm finished with the live today, so you can go to our YouTube channel. We already posted quite a few of our most popular recordings there. There are also webinars, free webinars by Turid Rugaas there, and other very interesting stuff. So we have Angelica also from Austria, Kristin in Belgium, Caro in France, and Jill in Wales. Welcome, welcome. You see what I mean? This is such an international environment. I love it. We have something in common, one thing. We probably have a lot of things in common, but for sure, we have the love of dogs and the interest for dogs and behavior in common. So, okay, let me find my notes. Um, so, like I said, we're going to talk about how dogs are experiencing the world and everything around us differently from us, and what that means to you and me. Because when we are changing the way we communicate with our dogs based on how they perceive the world and the environment, everything is just so much easier. It's more stress-free both for you and your dog. So how does dog experience the world differently? First of all, Dogs, they live in a scent-driven world. So they are driven by scent. They see the world with their noses, not like we do with our eyesight. So they first of all, they smell. And you all know that dogs have an incredible sense of smell compared to us humans. Second thing is that their vision is built for detecting movements, not the details or colors like our vision is. They're much more concentrated around the movements in their environment, which means that it's even more important for us to slow down. And it's an instinct for all dogs to move after, to react when something is moving fast. It's their hunting instinct. And especially for puppies and adolescent dogs who haven't really got used to our human world yet, their instincts of moving after or start chasing things that are moving fast is even stronger than adult dogs or dogs that are not socialized properly or in the right way. So that is why you have a typical problem of puppies or young dogs, adolescent dogs, who are chasing children running around. It's a very normal behavior. So what do? We talk to the children. We tell them that they're not supposed to run around the dogs unless they want to be chased. Also, dogs, they understand our body language and our emotional tone much more than our spoken language. So, of course, we do know that dogs can learn a high number of different words, different commands. We all know that. Hundreds of them, in fact. And that's all well and good, but we have to teach them these commands, and they don't really fully understand full sentences like when we are talking to each other in our verbal language. So they communicate more with their body language. So the calming signals and the tone of our voice is very important when we're communicating with our dogs. So why is this important to know? Because then we know why sniffing is so important when your dog is outside or even inside. But sniffing is essential for dogs. It's really how they perceive everything around them. Also, the small, subtle, calming signals, which I've spoken about many times before, licking their lip, turning their head, yawning, all kinds of calming signals, and using their body language, their body, is a way of communicating. And they're doing that constantly. They're communicating to us and to other dogs and other animals in their surroundings. So this might be the reason why your dog might be distracted by something that you can't see or smell, because we don't have that great sense of smell as dogs have. Also, hearing. Dogs, they hear much better than us, much better, and they hear high-pitched tones from far away, and we know that. So very often you can see your dog is reacting to something, or maybe it's barking to something, and you don't know what it is. It's because they can hear better than us, they can smell much better than us, and they see movements very well. So for example, in twilight or when it's getting dark outside, your dog is likely to see movements in trees and what have you around that you don't see. So if you have a squirrel moving in trees and it's dark outside or twilight, and then you can't see it, we can't see it, but the dog will see it. And that might be why your dog is starting to bark. So words matters less than we think when we're talking, interacting, training, communicating with our dogs. We over rely, I think, on words or commands like sit, stop, come, stop it, go, go lay down, whatever we do. It's a lot of commands. To our dog, what they hear is a lot of ba ba ba. They do recognize some of these words. You might even train your dog to know these commands, but it's the tone and the posture of your body and your emotional energy that speaks to your dog. That's the dog. That's what the dog is perceiving much better than the actual words that you are saying out loud. So when we have calmer gestures and more predictable movements and moving slower, and we have consistent routines, that is more effective than repeating commands. And that's what I learned some 20 years ago when I really started shifting, or when I would have to say, started to really understand the impact my behavior had on my dogs. And I've had a long and very, very interesting journey learning this myself. And it's not something that I've learned in a couple of weeks. It took me years, maybe because I'm a slow learner. But for those of you who don't know me, I got my first dog as an adult. I grew up with dogs in my family, but in 2000 I moved back to Norway after living abroad for 11 years. And then I got my first dog as an adult. So from then on, I just kept getting dogs because I could. So I ended up with 8 dogs, rehomed dogs. So I had dogs in different breeds, different ages, different backgrounds, and different problem behavior. Believe me, that's why they were rehomed, because they had some kind of problem behavior. And this didn't happen overnight. It happened over a few years. So when I started using and shifting from using less commands, talking less to my dogs, giving them commands, and using more of my body language and observing my dogs. That's what I've learned the most from. I've been to countless courses in person and online, and this is what I do for a living. I work with dogs. But who taught me the most was my dogs, my own dogs, and the dogs I've been training along the way, which is, a few hundred dogs by now. So I'm telling you that this is, if you start observing and if you start using your own body language the right way, you will have a much, how can I say, stress-free and easier life with your dog. It will be less complicated. So how can we communicate more calmly with our dogs? You can be more calm and more predictable in your movements. Calm presence, your presence, reduces stress and confusion, especially if you have dogs with some issues about that. And predictable routines help dog feel safe. So again, if you have dogs that are a little bit fearful or have issues with that, that's unfortunately that's one of the most common problem behaviors we see, is because the dog is insecure, fearful, learned helpless, all of that. But we do have ways to help your dog overcome that and build confidence and be less fearful. But these are things that you can do. That's what you absolutely should start doing. And the reason, this is not going to take you 2 weeks to learn. This is going to take you quite a while, because it's like learning a new language and a new behavior. We have to learn a new behavior. And that's what makes it so difficult, because we have to change. First of all, we have to change. So use more soft, clear body language, such as you should of course avoid bending over or rushing or walking straight toward a dog. You have to start curving. I speak a lot about that in my previous Facebook lives as well, the importance of curving. and to let your dog choose to come to you. I think that was the last email last week with the tip of the week, where I spoke about choice, the last week or the week before, how we should stop reaching our hands out to dogs. We should just stop it. We just have to start all over again and learn everything again, new. What we should do is to let the dog come to you, whether it's your dog or someone else's dog, an unknown dog. From now on, you let the dog come to you. If the dog wants to be petted or touched by you or want to, have contact with you, that dog will clearly show you. Unless, or if they don't, then we shouldn't be touching them. We shouldn't be bending over. We shouldn't. You don't do that with humans. So we need to stop doing that with dogs as well. Let the scent lead the way, so let them sniff. Please do. It's not wasting time. It's information gathering for your dog. And it's dogs in general, they have a much bigger part of their brain processing smell. So when they use their nose, when they're allowed to sniff, they're using a bigger portion in their brain than humans are, which means that when you are using your brain, when you are doing math or, when you are doing something with your brain, you also get tired, maybe even more tired than if you do physical stuff. Same thing with dogs when they're allowed to smell. So it's good training, or what you call it. It's good. How can I forget this word? I can't even remember it in Norwegian. My brain is, it's too tired. Physical and mental. Probably someone can, I have to see the chat. If Monica is here, maybe you can help me. You always help me out. Training. Let's just go with training for now. I'll get back to the chat later. And to use scent games, or we love to do the enriched environment. I also have webinars or free talks about enriched environments that they can use their nose and reduce stress and increase well-being, I would say. I would go as far as to say well-being. We should also learn to observe before we act. So again, observation is one of the most important things we do, to observe so that we can understand the context and the language and the body language. What does the dog, try to communicate to us? So learn to read these subtle signs, the calming signals, and respond to them. Don't copy them, respond to them so that you have an actual conversation going. Okay, so I have a question for you. What's one thing you will try to do differently after hearing this? Is there something that you can do in your everyday interaction with your dog that you can do differently starting from today or tomorrow? If we change something, one thing, one simple thing each week, that can have a tremendous impact on your dog. And it doesn't have to take that long. Just don't try to change everything at once. One step at a time. So if you already feel that, oh, maybe I'm not letting my dog sniff very long when we're out walking the dog. Maybe I'm a little bit impatient. Or, yeah, it's true. Maybe I should pay more attention to my body language. Maybe I'm more abrupt. Maybe I just move fast, these kind of things. I do. And I've been taking care of dogs with severe problem behaviors and extreme fearful dogs, and taking them into my home where there are other dogs And for periods, I had to move very slow in my own house, not to get the energy or the energy level of the dog up, because that could actually cause aggression or something happening with the dogs. So I had to really learn how to get up from the chair and walk around, interacting in my own home in a different way than I used to. And that wasn't that easy for me because I could sit and, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not normally very calm, calm, cool, and collected. I'm like getting up from the chair. I'm a little bit here and there. So I had to change that myself. And oh boy, did it make a difference. Really did it make a difference. So our dogs, they don't live in a world of words the way we are humans. They live in a world of scent and movement and emotion. And of course, they hear very well. And they have learned, they can see our facial expressions and they recognize things very well. So that's why they can read us for sure. They read us much better than we read them, which is a bit unfair to them, to be honest. I feel that it's more, it's our responsibility to know how to do this. You wouldn't let a person live in your home without trying to find a common language to communicate. I'm sure if you had a person from a different, who spoke a different language, you would try and feel a common language to communicate, or you would learn each other's languages. And I think it's kind of what we need to do. It's our responsibility for our dogs as well to understand them. So the more we adjust to their way of experiencing the world, the more we understand how this works, the better our communication and the connection with the dog will be. So be curious and be observant. Start observing your dog. I know I say this a lot, but it's so, so important. Okay, now I'm going back to the chat to see if there is any thoughts about this or any comments. Okay, so we have Jody in the UK, we have Jill from South Africa, Corinne from Italy. I love this, so many wonderful places. South Africa, Estonia, Slovenia, Greece. Wow, it's really from everywhere tonight. And Norway even. Okay. Mina is writing, walk at a slower pace and allow my dog more time to sniff. Absolutely, that's something we can do. And Anya is saying, should I wait for my dog to come to me to put on the harness when we are going out? Yeah, I think so. That's what I do. That's not really been a problem because they want to go, when we are going out for a walk, they want to come with us, with me. So they come in the hallway and then I put the harness on. I would not chase my dog around the house with the harness. No. Anything else that you know that you can do, that you can change starting from today? Just the small things. And if you live in a household, now I live on my own, so that's not something relevant for this household now at the moment. But if you live with a family, just be aware that your dog is picking up on everything that's going around in the household. So I remember I had a dog that was very, very fearful. He was very soft. We got very scared, very easily scared. I don't know what his background, what his experiences was, but I could imagine that it was not good when it came to people arguing, for example. When I lived with my ex-husband, we had this dog, and every time we were speaking in a louder voice. And I'm not saying that we argued or anything, but it could be me being in a different room, you know, talking louder to my husband because he was in the living room. Or when we were discussing things, not in a bad way, but you know, you just get like, yeah, you get more energetic, and just raising the tone of the voice just a little bit made this dog extremely scared. So if you have teenagers in the house, or if you have children and you know there's a lot going on, and you all, you know, when I was a child we had a house with on different floors. So I remember especially my brother and my mother, they had a tendency to shout at each other from the basement to the second floor, which I thought was crazy. So they were shouting, they had a normal conversation, but they were shouting because they were on different floors. um, and yeah, if you have a dog that is a bit wary about these things, just remember that and adjust your tone of voice. The whole family has to do that. You have to be considerate to everyone living in the household. Um, Mona is saying give him more choices. Yes, that's also something that we can, I think, always get better at doing. Our dogs don't have many choices when we come to think about it. Dan says, spend less time doing with my dog and more time just watching body language. Absolutely. And Maria is saying, there's a question. Is a routine for going for walks helpful? Mine gets very giddy and it can be difficult to get her to calm down enough to get her harness on. Mm, that could help your dog. Yeah. Again, this is very, you know, it's very individual what each dog needs. So if you can try that, Maria, I would try it and see if it helps. Oh, hold on. I think my cat is coming on with a mouse. I am so sorry. And I'm so scared of mice. Nej, pus. Hold on. Pus. Ikke. Nei. Yeah, that's the worst thing that can happen to me is when my cat is coming in with a mouse. Okay. Cara is writing, need to communicate more to visitors to walk slower. Yes, that's the thing. We also have to tell our visitors and, you know, whoever is we meet when we're out with our dogs or to come that are coming into our houses, and let them know how to behave, which is again one of the most difficult things because it's easier to train and help and communicate, I think, with dogs than with humans, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for good questions and good input. So, okay, I need to go and see if this cat has brought in a mouse now. I can't see any more questions or comments. It was really nice being live again. I'll be live also next week, although it's Easter. But I'll be here on Wednesday, and I will definitely let you know before we go full on and do the same lives, but we will be on YouTube. A lot of people are not on Facebook as well, so I think it's a good change. Okay, so I will post a link to our YouTube channel here in the comments afterwards. Also, we have a Facebook group. If you're new to Nordic Dog Trainer, we have a Facebook group called Back to Basics, Ethical Dog Training. It's a free Facebook group where you can get advice from our dog trainers, our own certified Nordic dog trainers. So I'll post a link to that Facebook group as well. Have a very nice week and Wednesday evening, and see if there are any things that you can change. Just one thing. Start with one thing at a time and do small changes that will make a big change for your dog for the better. Have a very nice evening, everyone. Bye.